everyone. Hey Maha.
Hello, Barsha.
Everyone, welcome to this end of the year special episode of the MahaBarsha show. It's been a massive year with quite a lot of stuff happening, right? Um, yeah, and we kicked off MahaBarsha show earlier in this year, which will be
Yes.
last year very soon. We put up some conversations. We had an introduction video, and here we are towards the end of 2025, and we thought we'll come to our audience today and talk about how the year was, a bit of a reflection, but also looking at where we are today and what are we looking forward to in 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
your
give
thoughts.
some thanks. Gratitude. We did not meet at the Thanksgiving. We didn't have a Thanksgiving episode, so it'll kind of be really a good idea to say thanks to Ginny, who's just now behind the scenes right now, but working hard on her vacation as well. And
Yes,
and to Abby for putting together this like nice, very beautiful construct for the MahaBarsha show, but also our guests that came in at our invitation and spoke with us and shared some of their ideas and opinions and thoughts as well, and some really good tidbits. We learned so much from them. I
yeah,
over the few episodes that we had, and yeah, and words of encouragement from our listeners as well. So I think there's so much to be thankful for this year that we've been through. But we were just talking about it, right, Barsha, just a few
yeah,
minutes ago around what we intended. And
yeah,
we kind of like kept going, kept going. You know,
yeah.
had changes, then still kept going, more changes.
Yes,
Kept going.
yes.
Yeah, so tell us
I
about
mean,
you.
if we were to reflect on that, I think we've shared in our introduction video how the Mahabharsha show started. Um, but just a quick recap, we wanted to bring our guests and conversations and tips to our audience around people early in career wanting to get into non-traditional technical roles, or people midway through their career at any point in their career trying to move or change in their careers, and how can we bring the experiences we've got among ourselves but also in our network, to empower and really you know hit home the message that anything's possible, right?
Yeah,
And if you know about something, you can do something about it.
yeah,
And I think we've stuck to that theme with our guests, with the learnings that they shared with us, with some practical tips that they gave away as well.
yeah.
Um, yeah, our first guest, Ginny, amazing. We've all known her. A lot of people know her from helping us here, but it was awesome to have her, and just our three-way conversation to be on the foreground
Yeah.
for once was amazing.
It was
And
amazing. Yeah.
yeah,
BBG afterwards, BBG amazing. And by the way, she had her first Visible Women's Conference in Montreal in October, right?
yeah.
And I went there, and it was incredibly awesome to see
Oh
all
my
these
gosh.
amazing women that were there at the conference. We should do that next year. You should try and
Yes.
get there.
Oh,
Um,
get the
so
day.
it was amazing to see all these powerful, very, very strong women out there speak about their vulnerabilities and really talk about how many of them made career changes themselves from
Yeah,
different parts, doing different things in their lives, and then taking that one on and doing something completely different from what they
yeah,
were used to. And it was incredibly awesome to be part of that. And you could just sort of see what BBG shared with us on the show at work at this particular
yes.
conference. It was pretty amazing. And then we had Emily, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Emily brought a very different perspective, right? She working with a keynote, like training keynote women leaders, and just sharing her bits around, you know, how do we get in the mindset and create stuff and be comfortable with the uncomfortable, push yourself and just be visible. Like there was quite a lot of um
Storytelling aspect in
yeah,
well, right?
absolutely. Yeah, and it's very similar to, what are we trying to portray yourself as, and how do you get there.
Yeah.
And there's power in that, right? There's power in defining your own story.
Yeah.
Because if you're clear in your story, you're very clear in communicating who you are, rather than 10 people having a different version of who you might be. Because if
Yes.
you're clear, you're it.
Yeah.
Um, and if you can do that in front of thousands of people, or hundreds of people, or tens of people, in front of, in an auditorium, in a conference, and with training like that, that is amazing. And that's something you can do it in every day
Yeah.
as well, in all our interactions.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, so in terms of talking about early in career, building some of those transferable
Mm,
skills, whether it's storytelling, whether it's identifying, how to build out your brand, right?
yeah,
Who you are and what you want to project yourself as, and then how do you build that into your talk track, right? How do you convey that, whether it is your presence on LinkedIn or other professional settings, like to be able to do that. That's sort of the crux for this year.
yeah,
Next year, we probably will be talking to some guests that are actually doing some of these things, whether
yeah,
it is advocacy or whether it is doing some of the roles or non-traditional roles that we were talking about this year.
yeah,
Things that you don't go to school for. That's what we talk about, right,
yeah,
Barsha?
absolutely. And I think it's probably timely to kind of think about, we started with what we started, we talked about it, what we're going forward, but like you, me, and Ginny running the MahaBarsha show as well, like what we started with, where we're going at, and what happened in our lives, right?
Mhm.
Like,
That is important too.
yeah, because we are people running it, and we have a shared vision, we have a shared passion, and a cause that we want to contribute towards. But then, like each person's life's gone on in 2024, and like uh, Ginny is a mom. She was helping us put everything together when she was on her maternity leave, and then you're dealing with a toddler, your life kind of changes.
Totally.
Absolutely. My son started kindy, and my role kind of changed from APJ to ANZ. So there was quite a lot of things that I needed to bring back to my focus as well, and adapt. And yourself, Maha,
Yeah, I changed
you're
my
on a
role.
roller coaster ride.
Oh, I thought there was a break, but I don't even know what happened to the break. It disappeared. But
Yeah,
changing roles, um, doing something else in a different company, getting to know a whole new lot of people,
yeah,
understanding where they are coming from, understanding the mission and vision of this new organization, and then how do I interact and build my vision
yeah,
for the future. It's just been a busy year in my
yeah.
family as well.
Congratulations on the new role. I'm sure you're gonna smash it as you do, from Cloudflare to Fastly now, right? But
Yeah,
it's a small industry, it's very interesting.
it is very interesting.
Yeah,
You can run,
yeah,
but you can hide.
yeah. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I thought we'll just touch a little bit on the happenings in life, and like we started and we put out some content with everything that was going on, and I think 2025 would be a lot more settled, and so uh,
I like what Ginny said when we were discussing this. Her
yeah,
theme for 2025, she said, let's keep going.
let's go in. That's right. We've
Yeah.
started, we built the runway, and I think it's much easier to ramp that up.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
on that topic, remember we were talking about a few things that have happened this year, just from a marketplace perspective.
yeah,
There were some of the roles that we were talking about, like late, let's say 2023,
mm,
um, around certain roles. We said, hey, look at marketing roles, look at
mm,
pre-sales roles, and look at sales roles, and go-to-market functions and other things that are non-traditional.
mm,
Um, and then this year, the whole influx of AI happened, right?
yeah,
It just didn't happen with like ChatGPT, where you could just go and ask it to rewrite something that you're writing to somebody. I mean, that's pretty amazing that they just
yeah.
went
That's already amazing. Yep.
tens of millions of users. But that's not what we're talking about. We are talking about how it has become an integral part of, or it is becoming an integral part of how we operate, how we interact with other businesses and organizations, right?
Yeah,
Even,
yeah,
I mean, your airlines and your e-commerce vendors, like everything has an AI interface now. And
yeah,
it is going to transform the whole marketplace for roles that are out
yes,
there. What
absolutely.
we thought of a year ago, probably some of may not even exist in 2025. Just think about
Yeah,
that possibility.
absolutely. And I think, this um and this is an ongoing conversation, right? Automation, AI. Um, should we be scared, like, of not having even the non-traditional jobs that we talked about, how much of that would be non-traditional for
Mhm.
human beings, or is a lot of that being would be taken away? We don't know, but I think there's parts of that is always going to be human. Like, you would always need people, because AI is not where I think we, like, we would have envisioned it to be. Like, there's still a long way to go, in terms of that learning component, right? There's data, and you're learning from the data, but the added, sort of, intelligence, I think that's probably a little bit away. So we still need us, but it's probably adapting to the market
Very
conditions.
quickly, very quickly. So,
Exactly.
but there will always be roles for humans, but it's getting more nuanced, which means that
Correct. Yeah.
unique competencies that are required to do a
Mm,
job are getting more sharper and narrower, right?
correct.
The
Yeah.
generic things like, oh, I can
Yeah.
speak and communicate well. Okay, that's good,
Yeah.
right? But that can be learned and it can be mimicked. Yeah. But the
Yeah.
question is, like, what do I do that is very unique for me? Those
Mm,
unique competencies, those are the things that are going to become more important as we go forward. And then there will be other roles as well that AI will introduce and or create for
yeah.
for the new graduates or the people that are coming out of school over the next few years, like things that they should be learning and
Mm,
building as part of their repertoire. Like ages ago, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, you had engineering works, streams, and then computer sciences was a different work stream, right? Like
yeah.
it was on its own. And
Yeah.
then computer science became integrated with all the engineering disciplines, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that the trend started even before as well, right? Like, everybody in engineering had to do like a mechanical, well, where I did it anyway, just the basics of civil engineering,
Yeah,
mechanical, because, the hardcore engineering. And then, yeah, second year, third year of uni, you would probably go into the main, subject, core subject that you picked. And I think that's the basics are very essential, because that builds the foundation, and then you can pivot. And because you understand the basics, I think then you can say, okay, I can add value here and here. But the foundation is so important, right? And I think that's especially for early in career people, um, and even, people changing midways. Like,
yeah,
I think there's benefit in understanding the education that you've done, how it's prepared you, and not losing that vision, right? Because it's so easy to say, what I learned in uni is not gonna be helpful to
oh,
me,
yeah,
or it's not, but
yeah.
the way university prepares and rewires your brain, that's always helpful.
That's
Like,
always fun.
um,
Interacting with people, discussing ideas,
yeah,
uh, and I think maybe next year we should maybe talk to a few students about
yeah,
how they integrated AI into their curriculum. Maybe a professor or two about integrating. I mean, how it's been integrated into the curriculum, and is that
yeah,
even an integral part of it? Maybe that'd be worth talking about, so that maybe some of our guests may be thinking about this. What is AI? Like, is AI just some sort of an automated response system? Is it like an
mm,
automated support system, or is it more than that? And how
more than that.
can I make it an integral part of my learning as well? Because that
Yeah,
could be very important in preparing them for the roles that will be there 4 years
yeah,
from now as they graduate. Yeah.
yeah. I even, like, there's like, use AI and then use your brain, or be aware of what you bring in. But also, I think it's like, how effective are you in using those tools available?
Yeah.
as well, right? Like, how do you make the best use of what's available to you? And I think there's so much nuances to it. Like, how do you complement an
Yeah.
automation or AI sort of platform that already exists versus how do you empower yourself to do your job better with the tools available,
That
not
are
being careful.
available to you. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you can be more, you can take on roles adjacent within your own organizations. Like
yeah,
we're not just talking about those that are early in career. We're also talking about people that want to take on roles, that they are different from what they are in within the same organization that they are part
yeah,
of. So what are some of those skills and competencies that they need to
yeah.
develop, either learn or develop, so they can take on these adjacent roles within
Yeah.
organizations? Yeah.
It'd be amazing to have some guests where they've probably seen how AI has grown in the last few years, and how they may have started skeptical, or maybe they're still a bit skeptical, but they see the use as well. Like, it's kind of tongue in cheek sort of thing, but it's I think it would be awesome to have some guests who can
Maybe,
share like experiences.
yeah, maybe somebody will send us a recommendation
Yeah,
to the show with a commentary and say you should
yes.
talk to people because they were very interesting or they heard them speak. You should.
Yeah, because they started with this view and then they've completely changed, or they're like on the way to changing, or they will never change, and anything
Yeah,
in the spectrum. I think it will be an amazing conversation. So yeah,
yeah,
to the audience, if you've got anybody, or if you think like you would want to have a chat with us, or if you think somebody else, please send them our way. Would love to have that chat.
yeah, it is going to transform. It is going to transform the job landscape much faster than we thought it was going to. It will
Yeah.
still be the traditional roles, but the think about virtual classrooms now, right?
Mm,
The education system has gone such a dynamic change from when you were had to be in the classroom to now you could be a student anywhere in the world and can still participate in a virtual classroom. Like who would have thought that that would be a possibility?
mm.
So many things have accelerated over the past 5 to 10 years that have transformed it, and that rate of change is getting, it's getting faster over the
Yeah.
next. I'm excited for it. Like I'm not afraid. I'm just excited for the possibilities of the things.
Yeah.
Like my own job. I'm thinking about optimization and automation, not
Yes.
to replace the folks that are doing the things, but to give them elevate their roles so they could be doing
Yeah.
something more meaningful rather than
Yeah.
the mundane, repeat
Yeah.
tasks.
I
Right?
mean,
It's
we touched on all about data. Remember, data is data. It's like the insight you bring in, and in our roles, if we can get the right kind of reporting, the summary of, hey, this effort that you put in translated to this
outcomes.
outcome, and
Mhm.
that is an example, right? It's not just a report for the sake of report of how many hours you've done. No, no, no. You spend an hour on this particular activity, and that resulted in whatever it resulted in, and generally it's revenue in when we're talking about our roles. But yeah, like, I think that automation, that level of extraction of data and making sense of it, I think, and that's only one role, or similar roles that we
Yeah.
we are across, but there's so much that we
So
can.
much that is touching. AI is touching different parts of the world, different roles,
Mm,
besides what we are looking at. And it is, I'd expect it to transform a lot
yeah,
uh, of how we are perceiving things, how we view things. But there'll always be still a lot of human roles, like
has
things
to be.
where you need to have a human touch,
Yeah,
uh, and have a meaningful conversation, whether it
yeah,
is a doctor patient one. Yeah, you can have a virtual doctor, you can have a lot of those things, but to be able to meet with somebody who empathizes and understands what is going
yeah.
on with you, I think that, I mean, those things will all stay for a very, very long time. So be very interesting to see what kind of transformation next year brings. Exciting.
Yeah. So yeah, to our audience, we want to wish a very happy holidays and all the best for 2025. Maha, would you like to share your wishes
Absolutely,
too?
absolutely. This year, I'm sure a lot of you have been through a lot of changes, just like we have been through a lot of changes. We're going to keep going, and we're hope that you'll also keep going, and let's keep going together. There'll be we'll be sharing some more of what we are thinking about in terms of roles, in terms of possibilities that are out there for you. Share some of your thoughts with us too, and best wishes for a wonderful, prosperous, happy New Year, happy holidays. In
Yes.
the next week or so, I'm off on Wellness Week, birth my
Nice.
first time in my entire life that I'm
Wow.
actually this whole week. This has been amazing. I've never experienced anything like this before. I cannot tell you how much thankful I am because I'm just like downtime
Wow.
this week.
And that's from work, the wellness week.
Yes,
That's
yes, yes.
amazing.
Work
Yeah.
given a week off, and it's incredible, incredible to
Yeah.
be able to take that downtime and spend with family. Anyway,
Yeah.
for those still working, well, keep doing whatever you're doing. But happy holidays and best wishes for a wonderful 2025. Talk to y'all.
Yes. Thank you all for your love, and we'll do it all over again in 2025.
Absolutely. Thank you, Barsha and Ginny behind the covers. Thank you
Yes.
so much for all that you do for us.
Yes. Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye bye.